Disclaimer. No data subjects were harmed in the making of this podcast.
Welcome to the Privacy Bar and Bants podcast. We make privacy awareness simple. Sit back, relax, and grab your darkest privacy myths and misconceptions. Your mind-boggling experience begins in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I love to drink water.
Anyway,
Right,
so
because
who am
you
I?
are
I'm Yetunde
okay,
Industry.
Next question. Next.
Everyone. Oh my god. I can't believe this. Finally. Okay. My name is Oladotun Oyemi and I will be the host for today's podcast. First of all, I would like to state that I am the hugest fan or the biggest fan of Privacy Bands. Like anybody that is a bigger fan out there should let me know because I have been following Privacy Bands from the very beginning and I am so excited. I finally get to be on the podcast. Oh my god. Okay, Yetunde and Dolapo, let's hear your voice.
Hi. Hello. Hi world. Hello everybody. Welcome to I was going to default hosting mode there. I said welcome to. It's not my welcome today. I think it's daughter's welcome to.
Yeah.
Hi
So,
everyone.
Dolly.
Hi Dotson.
Hi.
Dolly here.
Okay.
Dolly P here.
Say
Dolly
Dolly. I didn't
P
say
is
Dolly P.
Dolly P is here.
Okay, Dolly.
That's I'm telling you. That's a you problem. Thank you.
Welcome to today's podcast. You guys are
Thank you.
guests on today's podcast. So please remember that I am the host for today. Proudly.
Be careful so that we don't quickly remove the recap from your head, please. Because
Come on. As a matter of introduction, yes, my name is Oladotun Oyemi. I am a policy analyst at Tech Crime Advisory, and I'm a major fan, biggest fan out there of Privacy Bands. So, how do you guys feel about being guests on your own podcast?
one thing though, I want to say that I hope that because I am the one with the title of your bully of the podcast, which I don't think is right anyway. I think it should be more like the Grand Maestro, the commander in but I think that I'm actually fine. It's nice to be on the other side of the aisle for me. Yeah, it's
That's
nice
good.
to be on the other side.
Dolly, how do you feel?
I mean, this episode somewhat just reminds me of the first time I and Yetunde recorded. I mean, the mistakes we made, how I mean, it was just a really, really weird start for both of us, right? This is like our 10th episode down the line, and it's not been easy, but it's been really great. So I'm really excited to record this episode, right, with you. And I mean, being a guest is nice, but I'm anxious.
To be fair, I actually want to say something. Dota is also a part of the team. I know that we haven't quite adjusted our outro to sort of reflect the changes that our team has undergone. It's been a long 10 episodes. Dota is actually, when she introduced herself, she cautiously omitted the fact that she's also a part of the team. A recent addition, but one that we truly, truly appreciate and value. So really, it's really our honor to be hosted by our very own Dotson. So yes, it's a pleasure.
Thank you so much. The honor is mine. I am so excited. So first off, to break the ice a bit. Initially, I was so nervous when Yetunde asked me, "Oh, how do you feel about being on the podcast?" I was like, "Okay, that would be nice, but can I do it? How do I feel? Am I nervous?" But finally being here, it's really, really nice because it's nothing strange. I've had conversations with Yetunde and Dolapo in the past, and he's talking about a very interesting part of what I love. That is privacy and data protection. No more fun way to do this than on the podcast. Yeah. So it's really nice.
We're off to a good start, by the way. You're off to a good start. Don't worry. The hosting is flowing naturally.
Thank you. So today, I'm not going to be revealing what the podcast is about today. I'm just going to keep it a secret. because I have a lot of things up my sleeves. Just so you know, you have lifelines. If you feel stuck at any point or you want to catch your breath, you can call any of our four options. First of all, you can call Oniche, that's our graphics designer. You can call Read One, our executive producer. You can call Iron Fair, our podcast editor, or you can call a previous guest on the podcast. So, are you
This
ready?
is so unfair. This feels like who wants to be a millionaire without the millions?
Yeah, I'm not even worried about the kind of questions that are going to be asked because, frankly, when you're telling me that I need to call, I should call a previous guest, I should call our graphics designer. Please, what kind of questions do you intend to ask us that would require us to get out of jail free card? Is this Monopoly?
Before now, both of you have terrorized our guests, you know, putting them on the spotlight, putting them on the hot seat, rapid fire. Now it's time for payback. And you know what
That's
they
why I
say?
thought you said you were a fan. This feels like personal vendetta, but it's
I
fine.
really so for all the guests that we have put on the hot seat, it's like you've gone for revenge.
I am representing so many people out there. The guests and the audience are like, this is a great moment for all of us. So, we're going to start our first segment, and the rule here is that I'm going to give both of you five different words, and each of you would take turns to either pick a number, like Yetunde will pick a number from Dolapo's list of words, and Dolapo has to describe the word while Yetunde guesses what word she's describing. So more like a charade kind of thing. So
Hmm. The Lakbo. So if I get this right, basically, if I pick a word, Dolakwa has to describe the word. Wait, sorry. If I don't know, please can you explain the rules again because I'm confused.
okay. So I have shared a list of words with Dolapo, and I'm
Oh,
also
that's
giving
what you
some
sent
words
us.
today. Yes. So
Mm-hmm.
Yetunde picks a number, and Dolapo checks a list. Okay, this is number three, and then she has to describe the word without mentioning the word. She describes the word, and Yetunde has to guess this is the word she's describing. So you must not
Okay.
use the way you must not use
Interesting.
the exact word I have given you. You must just use other words to describe the word you have. So it's a charade. Are we ready?
Okay. We are ready.
Okay, so
Yeah, I think so.
who would like to go first?
Please, Dolakwa can go first.
Okay,
Like, is
why
that
me?
specific
Yesterday,
numbers? Let Dolakwa go first.
Why
Dolakwa,
me?
go first. Go first, please.
Oh, so I'm supposed to ask you if you need to pick a number, right?
yes.
Okay, Yetunde, pick a number.
I'll pick Fantastic Five.
Um, so something that's used on WhatsApp to protect your communication.
End-to-end encryption. Forget it.
Nice one. So the word is encryption, actually. So I mean that's fine.
Yeah. Next.
Okay, Dolly, your turn. Hmm.
When you picked five, let me go with one. Always leading and starting.
Oh, best in forward affairs.
Oh my
Okay,
god.
the thing you need, there's something you need to collect to process personal data. Something you need to collect to process personal data.
Personal data.
Yes.
But you said the word.
Something I said something you need to collect to process
To,
personal data.
and so the word is personal data, right?
How do you know the word is personal data? Zero. Fa. It's not personal data.
But you said
Zero.
right.
Zero. Z doesn't you can see the list. Is the word personal data?
No, it's not.
No.
It was a confidence for
Okay,
me.
Okay.
I
Zero.
was I was confused.
Zero.
Okay,
Please, she
something
has missed the question. Please, bonus point for me, Jare.
oh, no
No
bonus
bonus.
point. You can
No
see the
bonus for
answer.
you.
So I get
Okay,
one
let's give
more
her
try.
another chance. Another chance,
Thank
yes.
you. Dotun is a fair host. I like Dotun's hosting.
Please.
Thank
That you
you.
better have two chances for me too when I get
Something you
questions.
collect. Something you need to collect.
Something you need to collect from the data subjects to process personal data.
Consent, lawful basis. I don't know.
Should we make the rule that if you are putting two answers, it's zero?
Okay, consent.
Uh-huh. Thank you. That's the correct answer. Thought the noise you were making, sis. I mean, I will be half marked because guess what? She
No,
had to get
no.
twice.
Tunde, you're not the
Forget the
host.
part exactly. Don't forget
Remember.
the part where I was the umpire in this particular game. Yeah.
Please, please. It does not need to work like that. Okay?
Okay. Next point. Dolly.
Okay. Yetunde, pick a number.
I'll choose 4.
4.
Mm-hmm. Please don't phone anything. Okay? Don't phone anything. Don't anything.
It's like there are different types of technologies that monitor user activity online. What are the and I need like the broad term, not just the particular type of technology.
Okay, cookies.
So I said the broad term.
The broad term.
Not
Okay, tracking technology.
like your clothes.
Last
It's
line. Last lifeline.
You're very close. I mean, you're almost there, right? You just need to rephrase the answer somewhat.
You see how Dolapo is nice. Explaining to
Just
you.
honestly. Oh wow.
There's no niceness in the game of life. It's cutthroat.
Okay. You have 10 seconds more.
I think
The answer you gave
web
like a 80% correct answer.
tracking. Website tracking.
Another phrasing of the word.
Online tracking.
Okay, you have half point. Half point. Dolapo, say the answer.
Tracker.
That's it.
I said online tracker.
I said
Online tracking.
This is not okay. This is actually not right. Anyway, moving on.
It's me, I'm always on your side. Don't doubt it.
No, I feel like I've gotten to Akpo more because now we are still in my own with half points. Look at that. Anyway, I'll take my half in peace and not in pieces. Akpo, please pick a number.
Take it. Why are you now? So if I will not be number 1, at least I'll be number 2.
Excuse you. Please, what number did you say you pick?
Number 2.
Okay, fine. In fact, you know what? This is what I'm going to do for you. Ghost mode. When you ghost. Yeah, you ghost.
Incognito mode.
No, what is the purpose of that when you do it?
Invisible.
But in the privacy term, what does invisibility mean?
5 more seconds.
I timing is right. Incognito mode. What's the other word for private mode?
Zero.
I went further.
What is it? Zero. Zero. The answer was what? Does you please tell us? Because
Anonymity. You already said
thank you.
invisible, and she told you to use the privacy terminology.
Terminology for invisible. The privacy podcast. I which one is anyway.
Yetunde is so happy now.
So now we have 1.5 and 1. Of course, it's a game.
I will get you on the next one.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Try your best. Work hard. Don't know I'm working harder. Okay. I will choose. I think I'll do 1. 1. I've done 5.
1 is so easy. Honestly, I feel like my words are, and I no longer feel like Dotun on my side. My words are definitely harder. So, Yetunde, the word is, or the description of the word is, liberties that protect your data.
Data subject rights and freedoms.
A broader term.
Or a
So
lesser
data
portion.
subject rights are sort of ingrained into the. It's just a part of the rights, right? It's There's like a whole larger.
Oh, okay, privacy rights to privacy.
Ah, yes,
E for
today.
energy.
I know, right?
Point five. I'm counting this time because see, we do this thing where we don't count. I'm counting. This is 2.5 now. Okay.
Rest. And you see how spotless my description is. I should get an
Mhm.
award for that.
Please, was it her description or my own ability to think? Please
Let's
excuse
give
me.
My
it
my
to both of you.
beauty
Yesterday is smart on her
description.
feet. Dolapo is great with descriptions. Yes.
And so yesterday is not good. These are not allowed.
You're just okay.
Sorry, you can't win. You can't win. Okay, Dorako, what pick a number?
Next.
I picked 3.
Okay, 3. Okay. Every data controller has to put on their websites.
Privacy notice.
Okay. So finally, you are now at 2. Okay. I'm still leading with 1. Yeah. Okay, I'll choose. Have I? Okay, I'll choose 3 too.
Okay, so our last episode with Patricia Bosher was on this.
Surveillance, state
Yeah.
surveillance.
By the way, if you haven't listened to the episode, you should really, really listen to it. It's an
Yeah.
amazing episode.
I mean, I feel like this could have been a tricky one because we also have the other one as well. Anyway, but that's by itself. But yeah, okay, that was our first episode with Patricia. Yeah. Okay, how about you? Choose a number.
4. You should know, and I'm going in the order of the number.
Sorry, let's in order. Okay, 4. Okay, so somebody that is what do we call? What's the name for somebody that is interested in privacy and privacy related things? The word, so the word that we use would in a normal English context describe like excitement, like optimistic.
Yes.
What do you say?
Privacy enthusiast.
Exactly. There you go. Finally, you are now at
But
a 3.5.
yet they used, so Yetunde should get like minus points. Yetunde
For
used
what?
privacy enthusiast. Just think
No,
you should take a point from her.
no, I said people that are excited.
Yeah.
No, you first said in the privacy world.
Yes. What do you call somebody that is excited about?
Yes, you said in the
She
private
said
world.
privacy.
Yeah.
Privacy. Oh, yeah, today. What
This is the
did
first time
Yetunde
I'm
do?
excited about the telltale.
Let's remove half point.
This is ridiculous. No, please, that one is quarter point. What do you mean half points? Quarter. I can take quarter, but not quarter, but not half. There is no
Osu
way
is
half of my mind to get.
unbiased umpire.
You know
But
what?
soon, is
Give
it
me
half
some
or
time to
quarter?
think about it. Give me some time to
Okay,
think about
good. So right now I'm still on 3.5. And also surely we should have allowance now. A cat has 9 lives. So surely we should have lives on this. So like so
Oh,
have maybe we have 2 lives each. So now
this
I have one life.
away.
I have 5
it.
left.
Okay, these are just suggestions. I will decide the final
Oh
issue.
shit, for energy.
Hmm. Anyway,
Okay.
Delako, please. Okay, yes, for me now. Okay, so I haven't. What number have I not chosen? I should have only one left, right?
Yep.
So Delako, which one is it?
I think it's
So
I feel like it should
yeah,
be 2. Yes, 2.
um, so I mean, you're a lawyer, right? So, okay, so for what example? Oh, so something that binds like a doctor to not revealing personal data of his patients. It's a
Confidentiality. Yeah.
so yeah, that's the word, confidentiality.
Yeah, there I am. 4.5. Oh, sorry, 4.5 hours.
4, you have 4 Yetunde, but
No,
spotless
4.5. That's not decided. Please excuse you. Four and
he
a
said
half.
half
Because
points
otherwise,
out first.
no.
But
She said I told you half point is not fair. It has to be quarter because half point is a lot. How many questions do we answer? I have to consider a scale of quality. Proportionality was implemented. This is a private podcast after all. Proportionality.
It's
Decide.
our unbiased umpire.
I will decide. So,
Okay, dear host.
final point.
Kitty, what's my last question?
I think your last one is
5.
5. Yes, 5.
Okay, go ahead. This one. You should describe.
No, yes. Oh, okay, so 5. Oh, sorry. Oh, that I forgot that I was made to describe. Oh gosh. Okay, so something that where like a lot of information of data subjects are released to the public. What usually happens in that situation, or what's the name of that situation in
Very
private?
average.
Yeah, there you go. Simple as it is. So anyway, I still came out with 4.5. Anyway,
So decide now,
so I move on to so that we can know what exactly we are doing here.
so we
At
can
this
know.
particular point, we have a total of 4 points to Dolapo, 4 points. Quarter. How do you say that?
Yes.
4.25. This is
Yeah.
not fair. That's why your math is bad. 4.1. That's why your math
You
is
should
bad.
respect final.
Malako, you're just making noise right now because really you know that I have come out on top. You know,
No, that's so unfair. So this is there's
Let's
bias
give it
here.
up for our current winner. Dolapo, you
I
have
don't
to.
agree. I take my L honorably.
Everybody should do that in their own right. So that was awesome. That was really nice. The next segment we'll be going on to is another interesting segment, and it's called Most Likely To. So I'm going to be asking you who is most likely to do certain things during the recording, and two of you will give me your answers. So we'll see who is most likely to eat during the recording, who is most likely
Dolakwa is most likely to do everything. Dolakwa is
You don't ask us to start answering.
everything is Dolakwa. Good or bad, Dolakwa.
Yesterday, wait, let me defend myself.
Don't defend yourself.
Yesterday is an early bed. I'm a night evening crawler. Yesterday set up a recording for 8 a.m. Who is happy?
The guests had time because that's when the guests had time. Did I have a choice?
Can I finish?
No, you
Defend.
can't.
So
it brings
innocently,
me to my next point, actually. Who is most likely to sleep during a recording session?
no, I didn't sleep during. I never slept during a recording session. I slept before.
Me, I know that one can never be because me during recording sessions.
That can be me. I can't sleep during recording sessions. I can yawn.
I actually think none of us will sleep during the recording.
Yeah.
Dolapo can sleep into the recording.
She can sleep into, but she won't sleep in it. If we are recording, she won't sleep. The reason why is that because recording requires both our attentions, right? So I don't think anybody will actually sleep during the recording.
Correct. So now the last one that I think Dolapo might, be the same. Who is most likely to be late for a recording session?
Oh my God. Yesterday, are you after me? So are you after me?
There we go.
Sorry.
I didn't need to talk.
I'm never late. Yesterday is just too early. That's the difference.
Okay, it's getting juicier.
So if,
Who
for
is
example,
most
yesterday joins by 8:40, I join by 8:50, so I'm not late. I'm just not as early as yesterday. Yay!
Indeed.
Wait for
Who is
me.
most likely to prank a guest or a co-host during the recording?
Yesterday.
So you know what? I am actually happy with this one because guess what? I'm actually happy to be mischievous. I am very happy to be very up to no good. Yes. I'm in terms of pranking people. Yes, I'm happy to be that.
Okay, so who is most likely to sing during a recording session?
Yesterday.
Something.
But wait, stop. How is it me?
Yesterday. You
How?
have so do you know yesterday sings my name?
Yes.
She's almost does it on the podcast sometimes. So we're not saying you've done it before, but who is most likely to get into a mood where they want to sing?
Fair
It's
enough. Just because the Lakwa's name is so singable. Like, It's just so singing friendly. So
Okay.
I'm happy to see her name. So every time I call her, like first like 5 minutes or 3 minutes or maybe like 2 minutes of our call, I'm like singing. Don't let me sing this song because the whole world doesn't need to know it because now they know it, they'll not be singing it and I won't get credit for my music. So please, no.
Intellectual property more.
Sure.
Okay. So who is most likely to crack a joke during the recording?
I think both of us. Ete, what do you think?
I think it's I think it's the both of you actually. Thinking about it, I think it's the both of you. But
This game makes me feel like I and Yetunde are at a wedding and we're like bride and groom and the whole those that game they do at weddings and
the
someone is holding the
shooting,
shoe.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, who is most likely to get anxious during a recording or before a recording? Mm,
Hmm.
I don't know about this one, because to be honest, I feel like I'm anxious a lot of times before recordings. Like I'm like nervous because I'm like, okay, I don't want to say rubbish. So like and I'm always the one calling for meeting before the recording. So I actually think it's me.
So no, so I think it's both of us, right? And in a way, we're always there for each other to say, "Oh, don't worry, you'll do great." I mean, Yetunde
What
is the biggest hype person, right? She'll say, "Oh, don't worry, we'll do great. Well, we've done this how many times? We'll kill it this time as well, right?" And then I do the same for her. So I think there's just a place of both of us being there for each other in this kinds of period.
these are the sweet parts of the podcast. After that,
Yeah.
we just competition for who's going to win the games. That's what I have to say about that.
ooh. Okay, so the last two, who is most likely to speak over a guest during recording?
Oh, that's me for a
Always.
Fendi fact. I do it all. And it's because I don't know. I'm just even in normal conversations. I'm really bad. Like it's one of those things that I can say for sure. I'm trying to work on so that I can hold. Sometimes because I'm just excited about what the person is saying. Really, is why I sometimes cut in or speak over. And sometimes actually it's just network. So it can be either of us sometimes because the network is just bad.
And
Okay.
sometimes, so I mean, we've learned a lot while recording, right? So because it's a podcast, you don't want to wait too long before you respond when the person talks. But sometimes the person is like taking, there's a gap when the person is speaking and the person is taking like a moment to respond to
Yeah,
something. And in that period, you're already talking and the person now continues what they're saying. You're like, oh, what's happening here? So those kind of things happen as well.
Okay.
yeah. Those ones, yeah, those ones for sure. There was one particular episode where that one was very prevalent. Yeah,
We will not say the episode.
go and figure it out for yourself.
I know the episodes.
Please
Proudly,
excuse me.
I know the episode.
Let's keep
Okay.
moving. Let's keep.
So the final one, who is most likely to mix up a guest's name the recording?
Hmm. Do you know why I would say neither of us? Because we plan the episodes, so we're already familiar with the person before we even. Abidora?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're already really familiar, so
Most
we're
of
very
the
unlikely to miss the person's name.
Hmm.
However, what we
time,
can do is that we can mispronounce the person's name. So because
Mhm.
sometimes like if you don't check with the guest beforehand, and which is something that can happen to anybody, if you don't check with the guest beforehand, it's possible to mispronounce the name, and yeah, that would be a bit awkward.
That's cool.
And I think there could also be like the issue of um us not knowing how a guest particularly wants to be addressed,
Well, yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
To that.
yeah.
So that explains that. So that's good. At least now we've gotten to know, who is most likely to do some certain things during recording. Helps us to know
This is recording behind the scenes. I feel like this is information we should be paid for. That's what I have to say.
on behalf of many of us out there. I think this is us getting to know Yetini and Dolapo better, and that's really nice. Makes us feel more close to the podcast. So yeah, moving on. Next segment we're going to be having privacy hot takes. So in this segment, both of you are going to be giving your opinion. Yes, your opinion on a particular topic. I would give you a list of numbers. So you just speak like from number 1 to 10, and I will give you a topic. You speak for like 1 minute on it, Let us know what you feel, what you think about the particular topic. Who is
Um,
ready?
Doctor, please first, I would like to say something. There's somebody on this podcast who, when they give them responsibility to time, they always cheat with the time. So, and this is particularly with reference to our first episode. So, I really would like to ask that as our fair umpire in this on this podcast, please you do the timing.
Woo! Timer.
I have no words.
Okay. So for the next segment, we're going to be having hot takes. Okay. So here, I want to remind you that you still have your lifelines. If you feel like
Good.
the topic is too, maybe out there or something, or you're not very familiar, you can just phone a friend, you can call Oniche, call Ayonfe, call Ridwan, or call any previous guests that had been on the podcast. So, who is going first? Yesterday, as our winner from the last segment, would you like to do the honors of going first?
I mean, look, these are not problems I have. I'm happy to go first anytime.
Your pride is so beautiful. You're so confident. That's it.
Look, in life they say everything is a con. And what are the first three letters of confidence? Con.
That was the driest thing I've ever heard, but okay.
No words. Like, I'm speechless.
Yes. These are the spoken words of wisdom. Okay.
Okay, so pick a number while I start the timer.
Okay, I think I will do number 3.
Number,
Oh, 3. Okay.
number 3. So, number 3 is a privacy conspiracy theory. Your 1 minute starts now.
Well, conspiracy theories are very faulty. They're very interesting. I don't know any specific privacy conspiracy theories, but there's a reason why they're conspiracy theories. There's no real substantiated evidence to how true they are. So that's why they're conspiracy theories. But I mean, rather than I don't know that just a bit does anyone know any privacy conspiracy theories to help me? Privacy conspiracy theories, we actually wanted to record an episode on privacy conspiracy theories. They are very interesting. I think that maybe like there's some that are like okay, there's one that I think I can sort of speak about. I'm not sure how prominent it is of a conspiracy theory, but the one that everybody is taking your data,
Time.
like
Time is up. Time is up. Time
okay,
is up. I feel that was
okay.
the first time Yetunde didn't have something to say. But you really tried. You talked about how it's a conspiracy theory and how it's a theory and how we plan to record a podcast on this conspiracy theory. That was nice. What do you think?
I think it was a conspiracy theory.
Okay.
Lol, I'm actually laughing at myself.
Okay. So the next one, because we're working with time, Delako, pick a number.
Well, I choose 2.
Okay. Number 2 is digital lender and data protection. Your time starts now.
So I mean, I'd say that some categories of digital lenders are some of like the most unscrupulous data collectors or data processors that we have seen, right? Um from harassing consumers and users to manipulating, using deceptive designs on their platforms, to even going to the extent of you know using processing their users' personal data without any lawful basis. And I mean, sending their contact messages of that, their users are maybe criminal because they haven't made payments, or so things like that, right? I'll say that, I mean, it's something that the regulators really need to look into. And then we already have some regulatory reaction from that end. I think that's like last year or earlier this year, the FCCPC and the FCCPC NCC, as well as the bureau, decided to like form a joint.
Your time is up. DPO.
I concede defeat. That was a really good book.
Yes, yes, it was.
So
It
to
was.
be fair, I think we've done so much work at Tech Hive on this, so it's just something that you could easily speak to.
Think
And
about
yeah, there's a point I had to, do a research on about 30 digital lending apps, right?
Hmm.
Check their website, do like a technical analysis of their website. It was a whole lot, and that project gave me chills for weeks, right? So I mean, it's something I can easily speak to.
Oh, that's awesome. That was a good number. So, just to maybe,
Good number, a lot.
it was a good number. Yesterday's own was quite tricky. It's not something, but if I would maybe
conspiracy
try,
theory.
yeah, if I will
Conspiracy
attempt,
theory.
if I will
Do you know till
attempt
now?
at a conspiracy theory, let me give you one. I think one might be social media listening or surveillance in terms of how people feel
Oh,
like
oh yeah,
social,
that would have been a good one.
yeah, it's
but
always
but
listening
I do
to.
believe that conspiracy theory, honestly.
So I was actually alluding to something similar. I was going to talk about the fact that this I feel like there are two schools of thoughts that social media or tech giants collect a lot less data than we think they do. And there's the other school of thought that they collect a lot more data than we think they do. So and I think some of these things are like some of them, depending on who the tech giant is, it can be a conspiracy theory because some people, like for example, what you're talking about with like picking up voices and stuff, like not necessarily. So people say Siri is listening to you even when it's not listening to you. Yes, I think there was something about that like
Yes,
that
we
that
talked
was
about something like that.
yes.
Yes, you pick a number.
Okay, I'll go for it. What's the last number?
The last number would be number 17.
Okay,
That was
17.
17. Yep.
17.
17. Okay. I'm laughing at this one. Okay, so the next one is a recommended privacy news. Your time starts now, isn't it?
Sorry, wait, sorry, I don't understand. Before my time starts, I don't a recommended privacy
A recommended privacy tool, sorry. A recommended
tool.
privacy tool. Your time starts
Oh,
now.
recommended privacy tool. I think you know what, I'm gonna go very simple. I think the incognito part of your browser. So there was something that I think and Dolakwa should be a bit aware of this, which is the idea of I think it's like an unfair consumer practice, which is targeted pricing. So based on the information that the whoever whatever the controller is has on or has bought through from data brokers on a particular person, they can use that to sort of adjust the pricing of things. So sometimes you see this happen with like flight tickets where like if you look at it on somebody's phone, the ticket price might be cheaper, and if you look at it on another person's phone, the flight ticket might be more expensive. There are things like that, hotels. So there's an element of targeted pricing. I think there's another specific word for it that doesn't come to mind now, but I think that's like one of those. Sorry.
Personalized pricing algorithms.
Yes, personalized pricing algorithms, exactly. So, and the incognito browser basically tries to help you cut that out.
Your time
Yes, so
is up.
incognito browser is nice. So,
That was rich.
yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. We feel very educated. So,
Oh gosh.
Delafa, pick a number.
Hmm. Hmm.
Quickly, quickly,
Um,
quickly.
be coming down. Be coming down.
I
So
really am enjoying this game, and I think we
I,
should do it some
I,
more with our guests.
I really agree as well. I'll pick
Yeah.
four. I'm
Okay.
going. Yeah.
Now, number 4 says post-mortem privacy. Your time starts now.
You see, it's something that knows this postmortem privacy thing. So, postmortem privacy. I think this is basically the data that keeping data about someone that's dead under wraps, right? So whatever they wanted to be kept private, they should still be kept private, even if they are no longer there, right? So I think again, these are some things that different regulators need to pay attention to, right? How to because it's a difficult right to enforce, right? The data subject is sort of absent, right? So there's nobody to enforce it. So it's something that the regulators may need to pay attention to, right? So the kind of data or how to put things or procedures in place to ensure that there's postmortem privacy, right? I think that's my thought on this matter.
Okay, well done. You saved us some time. So I think another thing I might even had.
Let me, oh, sorry. No, go on. I was going to help the Delacqua finish up since
Okay,
she has
go ahead.
asked. She has
Go ahead. Give us a
noted.
thought.
So, I think there were so there like that. She everything she said yes, and then a little bit about just to add a bit of the fact that actually now a lot of social media service providers actually have features that enable or so for example when a person passes away there was a research that was done and it was found that on certain social media sites there were large numbers of people who were actually deceased who had accounts still subsisting accounts and that was a bit of like a woof, what is going on here. So I think a lot of social media giants have now introduced something called where you can have a next of kin for your social media accounts. So basically, you can basically put someone's contact information that will be sent. I think they will share your password and they will allow the person be able to delete your account if after you've passed on. So I think that's just something I wanted to add on to what Dolapo has said.
Yeah, and then it also speaks to I think digital assets in terms of your social media accounts, your
Yeah.
email, your financial
Yeah.
account, how all of this is, protected, or how, what's the approach to it after death, how is it treated? And laws actually have to do more in terms of this particular area. So that's nice. Okay, next one, I think our final round. Yes, they pick a number.
I will choose number one.
Okay. Next, number one is digital footprints. The time starts now.
Okay, a digital footprint is sort of an impression, as a footprint implies, an impression that you leave when you use. It's like a data impression. Let me put it that way. So it's the data that you leave behind whenever you access websites. So, for example, you go to a website, maybe you're scrolling through your social media site. You spend 5 minutes looking at a certain post. Then maybe it's a post about a bag, and then you start seeing you've left that footprint. So everything you do online in the digital atmosphere, you sort of leave a footprint of data behind you. So that's what digital footprints are. And earlier I was speaking about incognito browser and stuff like that. So incognito browser tries to kind of dissociate your digital footprint from what you are doing. So things like so that you can avoid things like targeted pricing and those kind of algorithms that basically that's targeted towards increasing or decreasing prices depending on your economic status, and that's economic status or those deductions, those profiles about you are built based off of the digital footprint you leave behind. The common question here is usually, can I avoid?
Your time. That's your time.
Okay, then there we go.
That's your
There
time.
we
So
go.
that's awesome.
I concede defeat.
That was really rich in 1 minute. It's just like it helps. Your digital footprint helps to tailor advertisements or personalized content to a particular person. So that's nice. The next one, the
I mean,
Lacoste.
so just to add a bit of that. I mean, even beyond like tailoring content, right? It's just in the world of today, it's just a healthier way to, well, I say a healthier way to live, right? Or a wiser way to live, because you don't. I mean, it's also like being security conscious, right? Some people put so much data out there of themselves that, in one way, people just need to look through your Instagram to be able to figure out your passwords, where you live, things, really, really weird things, right? So I think it's also a part of being security conscious. People post
Yeah.
pictures of the schools their children attend, or the children in the school uniform, right? So we need to be security conscious. I think there's also that aspect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
indeed, indeed. Thank you, Dorako, for adding that. So your own your number. Let's wrap this up.
So I've been sticking with like order orderly numbers. Let me go with my favorite number. I don't know. Let me know it's my favorite number. First, someone tries to use it to piece one or two together.
Exactly what
I'll go,
if you digital footprint in the mud.
I'll go with 4.
Okay. Number 4 says GDPR. 1 minute starts now.
I mean, well, for the GDPR stands for General Data Protection Regulation, right? But and it's the privacy. It's like it's a main privacy law in the EU region, right? But I do think that people sometimes over glorify it, right? I sometimes I read the GDPR and I'm able to spot that, oh, I mean, this could be improved upon, this provision could be improved upon, right? But the fact that a lot of African countries have sort of have done this whole copycat thing of the law, right? Not thinking of ways to contextualize the law, not thinking of ways to improve it, and just sort of glorify the law to say this is the best privacy law. A lot of people just make it the all and be of privacy laws, right? And I don't necessarily agree with that, right? I mean, it's a good law. It's a really big improvement from laws that were existing, but I think that there are laws that have provisions that they are doing way better in terms of certain provisions that the GDPR has already, right? There are laws that also there are laws that you could use to shadow the GDPR to say, oh,
time up. That's your time. That's your time. Thank you. So the Lapo's approach or your response to the question, I feel like that's something that only a data protection organ can say, and that's awesome. That's really nice.
Absolutely.
How now? How? I'm confused. How?
It's the
It takes I think what she's trying to say, let me help her, is that it takes you must have looked very closely at other legislations in other places. You must have a familiarity. And I think you're right. I feel like that, like there's a, like you have said, there's a very big verification of the GDPR. My problem not so much isn't with I feel like the GDPR is, well, questionably sufficing for the jurisdiction for which it was created. My problem is when they start to transpose it to other jurisdictions, and you start questionable things, and you're wondering, like, does this, in the context of the people that you are governing with this law, is it going to work? So yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So there you have it. So finally, to the final.
This is a segment we're going to put in the next season, because this was actually fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed dropping hot takes, and I think our guests will too.
Yes, I agree as well.
Definitely.
It should be done again. There's so many things to put you on the spot to talk about. Just give you a random topic. That's nice. Final segment for today's podcast. We're going to be having questions. 21 questions. So you collect from the recording.
Oh wow!
This reminding me of Woodman's episode.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when you had our executive producer on the podcast, both of you were the weapons fashioned against him. And today, I have the honor.
That's why I take exception.
No comment.
I take exception to that description on behalf of myself and Yetunde.
By association, you are guilty. Today, I'm going to be the weapon fashioned against the both of you. So I have 21 questions for you, and we're going to take this very, very fast. So questions from 1 to 21. You're going to pick a random number, and
how come we didn't announce the winner of hot takes? Yetunde missed one.
I didn't miss it. I just didn't. My take was just not hot enough. Okay, fine. You are the winner. Okay.
So,
give me crown, please. You have to play the whole.
Allow me to announce it. Allow me. Yes, allow me. So, our previous segment, we had the opportunity to put our guests on the hot seats, giving them questions or random topics to speak about in 1 minute. Dolapo was able to come up and triumph with a total of 3 good points. Yetunde managed to wrap her hands around 2.5 points.
I did manage.
I'm waiting for Yetunde to say he managed.
I did not manage. Managing is not
Dolapo, the winner of the last segment. Woo!
It's okay. That's barely by quarter point that she's leading now in this entire thing. So let's go, please. Let me use this segment to wipe the floor.
If I would be fair, the first winning Yetunde, you only scaled by 0.75 points.
0.25. 0.25.
Exactly 0.25 points.
And this one, she scaled by what?
0.5.
Yeah. That's it.
So I'm now telling people that she has now managed to beat me with 0.25. I actually would like some sort of a rematch.
So now the final segment to determine and wrap it up. Dolapo, Pick
I'll
a
take
number.
one. I'll take question one.
Question one. Who are your biggest career role models?
Ah. Mm, I mean, I don't say like I wouldn't say like I have like a biggest career role models, right? But there are people who do really amazing work in the technology space and who I've been opportune to work with, and it's always a pleasure doing work with them, right? And I mean, there are a few names that come to mind, right? There's Ridwan Oloyede. I mean, he's an executive producer, right? But it's always a pleasure working with him. He's like, he will cheer you on. His ability to trust people with tasks, to say, you know what, I want you to lead this, this is your brainchild, or I'm giving you this assignment and I want you to own it. And then you just, maybe it's something he sees in you, or it's the belief he has in you, and you're able to just do those things amazingly well, right?
Yeah. So
And
what
then
comes to
there's
mind?
Deji Sarumi, who just throws you right in and says, Dolly, do this and this. And some people give you a task and they give you A, B, C, D of how to do it. Some people say, I'm giving you this task and I'm telling you A, figure out B to Z, right? So it's really amazing to work. And they're both amazing people who I'm always, it's always a pleasure to work with them, right? They are I'll say they are my biggest cheerleaders, and I'm a big fan of both of them.
Wow. So if
To
I
be
would
honest, I actually think that yeah, I was going to say that, or even almost all the guests we have had are role model figures in I think data protection and
Yeah.
privacy, and there are many more other people. It's been such a pleasure this entire season to have the opportunity to speak to network with the fantastic guests we've had. So I just wanted to chip that in there as like a little addition to what Stella
Yeah,
said.
that's very accurate. Oh, it's very amazing to see that there are so many people out there willing to teach, to train, and to assist you to get better at what you do. So the next question, yes, let's pick your point.
Okay, so I chose 21. 21,
Yes.
the last
So
question.
question 21. What is your spiciest privacy related opinion?
My spiciest privacy related opinion, I think data protection is not really okay. So I think data protection falls between two it falls so I feel like there's a spectrum. A human rights and an economic right. That's what data protection could potentially be sourced from. And for me, I believe that data protection is more skewed towards the economic rights, economic interest, because data is a data is a resource. It's capital in the world that we're living in, and I think that the question when it comes to dealing with data is a question of power. Who has power over the data, and who has economic power really over the data? And I think the whole point of a lot of data protection laws is to really skew the power and skew the because the companies have the technology to scrape and do all sorts, and by that they can easily make economic benefits from it. But I think the whole point of data protection is sort of adjust that scale and move more power towards the end of the data subject. So I think that's one of my biggest
Okay.
can say hot takes.
Okay, so then I for your number.
I would say 2.
Okay, so this requires you to tell us when was one time you felt like you wanted to quit the podcast.
One time, one time.
Many a times what she's trying to say.
So yeah, at the very beginning of the podcast. So a fun fact that people don't know: the first episode we had to record the episode, I think 3 times, and on the third time we're both frustrated. Like they were just like, you know what, let's just record this. We're tired. The first time I'm doing something is just really natural, and the jokes flowed, and it was funny and everything. And then something didn't pan out well, and we had to do it the second time. Then something didn't turn out well, and we had to do it the third time. By that time, I'm just like, I'm really sure that this podcast thing is for us, right? But the important thing
For us.
is that we didn't quit and we stayed.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Therefore, that was one of my moments of wanting to quit the podcast as well. I think, yeah, that one was it was terrible. And then you know the worst part after we now had to even write the editing notes for that episode that we had recorded with
Yes.
yeah, that was it was a lot.
Okay.
It was a lot.
Yesterday, your turn. Pick a number.
Okay, I'll do question one.
Okay. So, which episode was, or which episode did you have the most fun when you were recording?
Most fun. I feel like I had fun recording all of our episodes. Well, I feel like I'm torn, but there are many. All the episodes, there's just something good about them. I feel like I leave every single episode feeling recharged, like in a very good way. Like I feel energized. Like I live with more knowledge, and so that it feeds my privacy interests and all that. But I think that if I was going to choose one episode, can I choose a couple and say it would be one of those? So it could be the episode we did an episode with Emmanuel, Emmanuel Salami. That was a fun episode to record. Our first episode, Dolak, when I just only it was really fun to record that the first time, not the third time that we recorded it. And then I think I would also say the episode we recorded with Rudon as well was fun because it was a fun episode. It didn't have any pressure, and because we just wanted to have fun with our executive producer, and we did. So I think there'll be a competition between those three. Just thinking off the top of our head, yeah.
Awesome. Delako, pick a number.
3.
Okay. So, can you tell us what has been your proudest moment on the podcast?
I'm a proud person, right? So maybe say this would maybe say this, and that's not a bad thing. Being a proud person isn't a bad thing. It's knowing your worth and adding tax. But I'd say that um proudest moments, I'll say 2 actually. I like to talk about the feedback we get from the listeners. That means the world to it means the world to me, and I'm sure it does to Yetunde as well. That people
But
actually listen to us,
yeah,
and they ref, not, they sort of pay attention, right? There's a whole lot of work that goes into making a podcast. People just listen to an hour of recording, right? But there's so much more of weeks of putting in the work, and I really have to give kudos to you today because she does really amazing work with that, right? So I mean, there's that the feedback we get um from our listeners. Then there's also the point of I have never been caught at a point where I'm unaware what the guest is saying, right? So when you get into certain conversations and the person is just
eh,
like, okay, I don't know this. I've never been there before, and I'm thankful. I'm really thankful and proud of myself because that shows that okay, I don't know everything, but
yeah.
I'm learning in the space, and that's amazing.
Okay. Awesome.
Can I actually try and answer this question too?
Mm.
I think that my proudest moments would be whenever I look back and I see how much work we have done, the sacrifices we have made to get some episodes out. I'm so humbled and I'm so grateful and I'm so proud of the work that we have done. Like it's really really amazing. I just like Jolakpo, well done, clap for yourself.
Oh,
um,
proud of
it's
us.
it's the type putting out episode month after month after month after month, even when we have other things going on in our lives. I think I'm always proud, even just knowing that we've put out the episode. Every time an episode goes out, moment of pride for me.
And big sigh of relief.
Awesome. So, Yetunde, pick a number.
Okay, I've done number 1, right? So I can do number I'll do number 20.
Number 20. Now, this is, let's see. Can you do an impression of your co-host?
Ah, oh my God. Okay, this is my best impression of that. I'm really bad at I must put this out there first. I'm really bad at impression. But this is something that Lopa always does. I know, right? I agree. That's something I definitely agree with. I
Yes.
yeah, that's right.
Yesterday,
That
I
is
speak nothing like that. I
that
use
is
those
so
phrases and
accurate.
Don't you
terminologies, but I
know, right?
talk nothing like
It's
that.
so accurate. That
Yeah,
like because
So
I have
I'm
like
not
I've listened to
denying.
a couple of podcasts, a lot of the episodes, and I just hear Dolapo. I know, right? I completely agree. Those exact
yes.
words.
Every time she does that, I'm like,
Roll
again.
eye, bombastic side eye,
To
criminal
like
offensive.
finally open our TikTok account. We're going to do a compilation of all. I'm going to ask Onuche to please post with this. Do a compilation of all the times that Dolakwa said, "I know, right? I
Yes,
know, right?"
it can be a soundtrack, and also because I work with Dolapo,
Literally,
she just has that tiny voice. I completely agree. I know,
really.
right?
I know, right?
I, I have no words
It's
for
cute.
both of
It's
you,
cute. It's cute, Dolapo. Just
and
take
I do
it.
not completely agree.
Okay, pick a number.
I know, right? I agree. I
I
completely
completely
agree.
agree.
We're done. We're done with this question. Can we move on? Can we move on, guys?
Pick a number.
Let me go and confuse you. I'm picking number 19.
What's wrong with you?
How am I going to
Okay,
shoot myself in the foot now?
I hope
so
you did.
so this one requires you to tell us if there's going to be a second season of our favorite podcast, and what do you look forward to the most about that season?
Drum rolls, drum rolls, drum rolls. Yetunde, should I do the honors?
I
Oh,
mean, oh, sorry. Let me just. I feel like this is very important. Go ahead, Apple.
Yes, there is going to be a second season. And we're already working on that, and we're super excited to it. I think one thing I look forward to in the second season is the amazing guests that we're going to bring on the show from different countries in Africa. It's going to be even more amazing. And because we've done, I mean, we pulled off a whole season, and we've made our mistakes, we've learned from them. The second season is going to be amazing. Like, I can't even emphasize that enough.
mm,
Yeah,
awesome, awesome.
for sure.
Yeah,
We're looking forward to the second season. Yeah.
yes, yes.
We hope we really are looking like we're looking forward to it more than the people that are listening because we know that like it's going to be a much better season than what we have. Like much better. Like we promise that for a fact.
And
I'm
I think
excited.
something we also look forward to doing is like somewhat bringing our fans of the pod or
Woo!
actively, give their
Yeah,
just bring part of the show to give their takes, talk about stuff with them.
yeah,
So more engagement with our audience.
yes, yes. And if you feel like you'd be interested in like joining in that kind of thing, please slide into our DMs on LinkedIn. Oh, sorry, slide into our DMs on Twitter. Sorry about that. That was my computer. But please slide into our DMs. You can slide into my DM, Dolakwa's DM. Just share slide, whichever way. Pour Omo on the floor and slide into DMs. Okay.
We're excited. Let's see.
Yeah.
So next question. It's me pick a number. Let's wrap it up.
I will do 18 since this woman has come to take my 19.
Okay. So now tell us, even though I feel like you should pick another number, because this might not apply to you.
Hey.
Should you pick another number?
Oh. No, say the question.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is that one episode that you haven't listened to?
Hey, my God. One episode I have not listened to. This is very interesting because okay. So as at now, one episode I've not listened to. So we have an episode going out. So we're recording this episode ahead of the month to which this episode is going to be published in. So the episode going out this month, I haven't actually done the editing notes for it. Dalako did those, so I haven't listened to them. But when it comes back from editing, I will listen. So I tend to listen to I think every single episode that we put out. So that's one episode I've not listened to as at now.
All
So yes, yeah, I could answer the question.
right. Dolly, go next. What number are you picking?
You pick
Uh,
I will come for you.
If I pick what?
17, I'll come for you.
17.
I
Dotty,
wanted
please.
you to pick 17. Good.
I picked 17.
Psychology in action.
I picked 17.
So, this is similar to what you answered before, but it's a different question. So, what would you say is the most rewarding aspect of being a host on a podcast?
Looking for it in this trouble. 1. Getting to tease and speak with it in the that's what I think the friendship we've built. Please, oh please, I don't like you that much, but I think it's you could say it's somewhat hard to get talent who put in the work, who are ready to help you as well. I mean, I think she's an all-rounder, so I'd say the most rewarding thing of recording this podcast, or the most rewarding aspect of recording this podcast, is what I and Yetunde have built together. That's what I would say.
Yeah. Okay. That has my stamp of approval for once.
It's an emotional moment. That's really nice. It's really nice.
Let's take a moment of silence to the emotions that have just been shared.
A moment of silence, or like some nice clap sounds.
Yeah.
Okay, clap.
While I'm cringing.
Don't worry. The clap one, I can definitely. So the feeling is mutual. I think it's been fantastic to the last one I literally met. I think we met like a few months before we started actually doing, but I think we met like maybe 3 months before. But Delako was the most difficult person to reach and still is till date on the podcast. But it's actually been nice to build a friendship with her. Yeah.
It's when we had forgiven the initial but
Okay.
unavoidable reasons. Why does it have to?
Forgiveness has been.
So Yetunde,
but we don't forget.
So you're supposed to pick a number, but I'll pick for you, just so you
Yes.
can answer the other side
Okay,
of the
pick
question.
for me.
So what would you say
Okay,
is
please
the
pick.
most difficult part about being a host?
Okay, so I have a whole list of that. I think so. Sometimes it can be difficult. It can be so you face every single day is a challenge with doing a podcast, because every single day we're managing people, we're managing guests, we're managing ourselves, and we have other things that we're doing as well. So it can be very difficult to sort of put every single episode that we successfully put together and record. It takes a lot of work to get it to that level. Also, it's difficult to do editing notes. Editing notes are such a pain. Like, the best episodes are the episodes where the editing process is easy for us, because not a lot of things that were not relevant were said. So we try and make sure that, but when we started the podcast, it wasn't that easy. As we've gotten more familiar with the podcast, we've been able to sort of reduce the amount of irrelevant things that we discuss and make sure that we are reducing. And so it can be difficult to sometimes make editing notes is a chore. Sometimes you do editing, you send it in, the editing comes back, things are not being done, they've not been, things are, maybe if you listen to the edited version and then you see that there's still some errors, so you send it back, you listen again. It's actually a chore to get a podcast out. I think it has been difficult, yeah.
And something I just quickly wanted to add was, it's a pain listening to your voice.
Oh gosh.
I don't like to listen to my own voice.
Ditto.
I feel everybody feels that way. So,
yeah. So you now have to listen to your voice and give somebody notes on what to it and listen and listen and listen and listen. It's a pain. And sometimes also, like, it can be sometimes you're not just in the amount of effort it takes to come on here and feign enthusiasm sometimes. Some days you're just not in the mood. That's the honest truth. Some days you just like, there's so many things going on that you're trying to do, deadlines, things that you're trying to do, and then this you have to you have to come and feign enthusiasm a lot of times.
So before I go to the next question, of which it has to do with enthusiasm, I actually want to take a moment to state that several of us appreciate the great work that both of you put in listening to the podcast. So many times I'm listening to the podcast and I'm just cringing because it's just really nice and I'm still learning at the same time. You know, on some days I'm maybe trying to figure out a particular topic on privacy or data protection that the efforts are paying off because many people are learning and many people are actually, taking records of the great work that you're doing. I say great work a lot of times, but it speaks to the great work you actually do. So, Dolakwa and Yetunde, it's really nice. It's really nice. You guys are doing great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, we have just two more questions to go because we need to wrap it up. So, pick a number, Yetunde, or I should pick for you.
Actually, I don't mind. You can pick for me. I feel like so you can get us the exciting questions. So go ahead and pick.
Okay. So, can you tell us one role in privacy or data protection that you really like to take or you really like to work in?
So, this is a very tough one because I feel like there are many things, there are many options for me. I think I really like in-house work as well as I also like I like in-house work. I like to be with a company, to work as a data protection officer in a company. Not data protection officer, data protection someone on the data protection team of a company. So rather than data protection officer, which is outwardly liaising with stakeholders as well as stakeholders including regulatory authorities and co. But I want to work in that role of sitting down, the new technologies we're bringing on board, figuring it out, doing privacy by design, privacy by default and design. That kind of work I think is really exciting stuff because you get to build something from the ground up, and I think I like that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's something I'm definitely looking forward to.
Wow. So you like to
exploring a career in.
process?
I think maybe just to quickly chip in mind, it would be really so. In addition to the data specialist role that Yetunde mentioned, I think it would also be actively working with governments in Africa or regulators in Africa in terms of innovative policies that could really, really solve problems. I think that's something I would really. I mean, I already do it in certain ways, right? And I mean, there's work that the times when I've had to reach out to different authorities already in different parts of Africa to say, oh, this is something we're working on and we can help you with this, right? So, and it's really exciting for me. And I think it's going to be a larger part of my career actually in the future.
Yeah, definitely interesting stuff.
Yeah.
I actually hope that in the end I actually can shift out into consulting. If, consulting externally, so consulting for everybody and anybody.
Awesome.
My consultant.
My government advisor.
Actually. So to the final question. So both of you are going to answer this question as well. It's a 2-in-1. So can you tell us one thing that you're not great at and your principle to life? Delako, go first.
I'm good at everything, but one thing I think I can do better in is my ability to. So this is it in relation to the podcast or generally in relation to work, everything?
Anything.
I'd say work life balance, right? One thing I've been trying to do is create. So I work from home, right? And the thing with work from home is there's really no structure to your day, right? When you're available to work, you don't have this. It's not a 9 to 5 or a 9 to whatever, right? You could just, there's this comfort of just opening your laptop by in the middle of the night, say, oh, I'm in a good headspace. I can work now. Right. And I mean, there's also the point of during the day, say, oh, I need a 1 hour power nap or my head is not booting at the moment. Right. So I think it's really having the structure to say, okay, certain times I'm not working or, doing that. Right. And I think that's on me. Like that's a me problem and I need to fix it. So that work-life balance, that structure to my work and timing. Yes.
Okay. Your principle to life.
The principle to life, keep at it. Just keep going.
Nice.
It'll be rocky, it'll be hard, but just keep it.
Yesterday, you have the
Me, I'm
floor.
thinking now because that. Okay, I think I'm perfect, so I don't need to change much. I'm kidding. I think that I can be very focused on small details, and it's good because in a lot of times, like it's very necessary to pay attention to details and make sure things are perfectly done. But I think sometimes in the quest for perfection, we often miss opportunities, and I think that's one of the things that I definitely want to work on. Not paying attention to as much detail as I do, but delineating and understanding the times that there are times and seasons where things need to move at certain, like it's not everything that you're going to be pedantic about, and could move to the final details. For what I think my principle to life is, I just want to be the best version of myself. Yes, being the best version of myself, because every day you show up as the best version of yourself, the best version of yourself can only increase, because every day your challenge is ultimately to show up as the best version of yourself. So you can only be a better version of yourself every day. Yeah, so that's it.
Awesome.
A woman of wise words. Wise words.
I feel inspired.
Yeah.
So thank you both. Thank you, Yetunde and Dolakwa, for coming on today's podcast.
You're telling us thank you for coming to our own podcast. You're telling us thank you for coming to our own.
I think we should get like a minute or two to put Dotto on the hot seat too.
It's not.
Look,
I'm not.
you see, I have no interest in anybody on the hot seat. I have no interest in placing anybody on the hot seat today. Reason being that I feel like my head is already even hot enough from this almost half hours of recording. So
Okay,
I think
so
Dolakwa,
one question.
I give you the crown of putting people on the hot seat today. So
give me crown. I don't want your crown. I'm not interested. But so I think one question, right, from me, and maybe the guests would also look forward to hearing from you, is where you see yourself, where you see your career going in the privacy space.
Okay.
Who's this question for?
Dotun.
Okay, so just a general thought about it. I don't have the specifics yet, but I think I'd like to impact knowledge in terms of educating people. I like to let people know what privacy and data protection is really about and how it affects their everyday life. So I feel like that's something I want to do sometime in the future or as my career progresses. I want to always have like opportunities to really tell people, okay, this is what it's about. This is how you can, do better. This is how you can protect yourself better. And this is why it's important generally. I feel like there's that knowledge gap and we're churning out more laws, but people don't know what the law serves them or what they stand to gain by paying any attention to the laws. Even as lawyers generally, there's not so much or so many people that really understand. Can remove that if it's not relevant or if it does not make sense. There's not many people that really understand how important privacy rights or how important data protection matters to their everyday life. So I feel that's something that gets to me. I want to teach people. I want to educate people. So that's a general idea of what I would like to do in the near future.
I mean, I totally agree. Interesting to know. Thank you very much. Drops my.
Let's return back to normal, please. We are the hosts. Dawson, thank you so much for hosting our podcast for us today.
Thank you for
Yesterday's body was itching her.
Yes, no, because we need to return to the norm. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. We really, really, really have had fun. Thank you for introducing new elements to our podcast, normal podcast sessions, and I think we had a lot of fun. And I hope that our listeners also got to know us better. I feel like that would have been a very big thing from today. And hopefully in the near future, as we look forward to, interacting more with the audience, putting our face out there more so you guys can be able to know who we are. we look forward to also having more interactions like this, where we have a guest come to the podcast, either as a guest or as a host, and to having more fun basically with our audience. So thank you so much, Dawson, for coming. Dolapo,
You.
any other
Very
thing?
fun.
Okay.
I mean, I adopt everything that my co-host has said.
All right then.
Thank you.
Until next time.
Yeah, it remains our lovely DPO and I, Yetunde. This episode was sponsored by Ikigai Innovation Initiative and was brought to you by Tech Hive Advisory.
And a big shout out to our executive producer, Ridwan Oluyede, associate producers, Dolly and Yetunde.
This podcast was edited by Ayonfe Aino, shout out to her, and our podcast associate, Victoria Adaramola, and graphics by Okwe Abujade.